A little lion's gonna grow up having to use a fucking speaking spell to roar.
Well, he almost had to use one when he killed his dad. Well, when he helped kill his dad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking's, as told by Disney. Simba Hawking.
Shit.
I just cannot wait to be king. I'm working on my roar.
Damn it. Stop it now.
May he rest in peace.
Shit.
Who, Mufasa?
Yeah.
Yahoo! Misa named Jar Jar Binks. Made the most famous Gungan in all of the Naboo. Used to re-listen to the Three Sheets to the Mouse podcast. It's the biggest bombad podcast in all of the galaxy. Mine thinks keep you younglings away from it. These guys no good. Just like in the prequels.
Sorted, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues. And injustice deliciously squared, be prepared.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 157 of Three Sheets to the Mouse. We're the podcast that likes to focus on the adult side of Disney, from the parks to the movies to the dining. We'll cover everything Disney has to offer, including their alcohol. I'm Mikey, and tonight I'm joined by two guys that have never tried to grab Ariel's jewels. Tim?
I never agree to that. I have tried.
Adam?
I like shiny things.
Oh, you smuggling opals. Well, make yourself a Skylon's Harmony, and let's talk about the grown-up side of Disney.
A what?
Yes,
now?
Adam.
What?
It's a Skylon's Harmony. Harmony. I went with a theme.
Okay.
It's a cocktail that's actually made with hibiki
Oh.
as the primary
Why would you
liquor, whiskey.
do that?
I don't know,
It's a
but
waste of good hibiki.
What?
it goes with 1.5 ounces of hibiki 12 and 3/4 of an ounce of Dubonnet Blanc or Bianco Vermouth. 3/4 ounce of Coqui Americano aperitif, and 2 dashes of lavender bitters.
So it's kind of like a Japanese Manhattan.
Yeah, like a Japanese Manhattan. You just stir it in a rocks glass over the ice, and then you garnish it with lavender sprigs. But fucking, I don't put no twigs in my drinks.
I'll just.
It's really floral, actually. It's like somewhere between a Japanese Manhattan meets like an aviation kind of.
No.
Just take my hibiki
there's no-
straight, please.
There's a lot of... I don't... the aviation doesn't have lavender.
Doesn't it have the lavender?
No, it's violet. It's violet liqueur.
Violet
It's violet liqueur and creme de vet. But I mean, just lavender. This is a very calming and relaxing
I was
drink.
thinking, you have it after your chamomile tea. This is the drink you need to drink.
This is your
Pour it in
nightcap.
your bathtub with some Epsom salts, and it'll be good.
There you
That
go.
works.
And dab a little bit of it on your neck. Keep the coronavirus away, right?
I thought that was lemon oil.
I don't know. I'm gonna let Shan try to mix this and tell us how it tastes, because I don't know shit about vermouth or aperitifs.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Whatever that aperitif was.
That's the Coqui Americano, Coqui, Coqui, C-O-C-C-H-I, Cockchi, Coxel.
Coxsaki.
I tried looking up alternatives for both of the mixers, and it basically just went to different types of vermouth, or the Lillet
Yeah, but
that you see used in a lot of
vermouth
gin
is
drinks.
vermouth. It's a wine. But the other one, I have no idea what that is. The aperitif.
Yeah, just go with it. Shan, you're up. Figure it out. Figure it out.
Figured out.
Well, no one's drinking that shit.
Nope.
So,
We're not.
Tim, you got a big damn glass. What are you drinking?
I was lucky enough to stumble upon a case of Mad Elf still at our local beer distributor.
So that's what you're
That's what we're
drinking.
Yeah, no fancy little
Okay.
tulip glass.
All right. Adam, you having the same?
Oh, fuck yeah.
You got fancy glass too?
Nope. Pint glass.
Ah. Well, you guys with your fancy glass in general, I'd be drinking out of a fucking
But
can.
it is a Trogs pint glass. So
Yeah, you gotta treat the Mad
small.
Elf right. It deserves.
You know what? It's not available down here, so I wouldn't. I
You
wouldn't
should
know.
stop calling Maria that. That's not nice.
She's a Twizzler.
She's a
Get it
Twizzler.
right.
An angry little Smurf.
She's the 8th dwarf.
angry.
Well, I mean, you already got grumpy.
What would you call her then? She has to have a name.
I know. Just Shorty?
Yeah, I think they're dwarfs. I think they're all short. I
Oh.
think the name implies that.
I don't know. Pop, put up a poll.
Ragey.
Put up a poll so someone can pick a name for
Maria.
What is Maria's dwarf name? That works. That's not going to piss anybody off, Todd.
No,
Sorry.
not at all. This probably will have to get cut.
Well, I'm drinking a little bit of my Stranahan's Barrel Pick cask strength this evening. I forgot. It's been a while. I forgot how hot it is, but I do love me some cask strength whiskeys. Well, hey, here's something new that we never done before. Let's look at a correction. You know, newspapers post corrections sometimes, and
Wait,
everyone's
we're wrong about something?
well, we weren't
We're
wrong
always-
about anything.
Disney switched it up on us last minute.
No, you were there. No, this pertains to me.
Okay.
A couple episodes back on 155, we discussed planning your Disney vacation from start to finish, and I had the segment talking about the dining plan options. Well, last week, Disney decided, hey, let's release a 4th dining plan option literally a week after that episode aired. So, anybody listening in future times will be terribly confused or think we are
Misinformed.
idiots. For at least 2 episodes, they'll think we're idiots until they get to this part. If they're listening in order. Otherwise, we're fucked either way. So, yeah, Disney released a 4th dining plan called Disney Dining Plan Plus. Yep, the DDPP. And it is basically just your deluxe dining plan. Instead of having 3 dining credits that can be used for quick service or table service, your choice, this gives you 2 of them. So to me, it kind of looks like it's something that might be an option if you want to get the dining plan, but also wanted to do some signature dining on your trip and not have to budget 2 nights worth of table service. You just have 2 table services every day.
Works for me.
I
That's
mean,
what we used to do.
that's-
So the only thing is that you lose your quick service.
Well, no, it's an either or, just like the deluxe.
No. But what I'm saying is like,
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't have a lunch that day, basically.
Yeah,
you
or
know,
breakfast.
Or breakfast, yeah. You still get your 2 snack credits. It's going to run around $95 for an adult and $35 for a kid. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think this is still another option that's going to be tough to get your money's worth out of.
you see, for us, I don't know how true that is. Because our average meal, if we're eating at a deluxe restaurant, and then granted, we might get a bottle of wine or what have you, but runs about $200.
Well, I mean, again, yes, that's without doing signature dining. This might be difficult to hit a break even on.
But, I mean, you still get your alcoholic beverage, right?
Yeah, you'll still have everything else that the other dining plans have got.
Do you have an appetizer on this one, like the deluxe dining plan?
I believe you get your. No, I believe you just get the entree.
Okay.
So
I really didn't look at it, so I was just curious. I mean,
it's
there's a will, there's a way kind of situation.
it's another option. Maybe this hits a sweet spot for some folks. I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't want to get overly stuffed in a day having 3 table service meals or whatever, and this is just 2. I don't know. It's just out there. If you use a quick serve, if you use either of these credits for a quick serve credit, I think you're doing yourself an injustice financially.
Well, to be fair, if you do breakfast, you can do like a sit-down breakfast or a character meal, and then do a dinner. That might work out.
Yeah, but I mean, just don't do a quick serve if you're doing this.
No, the whole point of having a table service meal is to use it for table service.
Don't be rolling up in there thinking you're hot shit, going up into the ABC commissary with your DDPP dining plan.
Rolling up in Pecco's Bills, making it rain.
With dining plan credit.
Got my free fixins bar. What up?
It's free anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. I learned something new. So the more you know, I guess. And speaking of learning, it's time once again for a course credit towards your Doctorate of Disney Knowledge with another DhD class. And this time it's set in Magic Kingdom. Tucked away in Old Fantasyland. Is that a thing? Is that what you call that area? Would that be Old Fantasyland?
That's just regular Fantasyland.
Or would it?
It's just...
So it's Fantasyland and New Fantasyland.
Well, New Fantasyland is a new area. I don't think they ever... Well, you don't hear of Old York.
Do you hear of York?
Yeah.
Besides the
you hear of
peppermint
York
patty.
in New York, but you never hear of Old York.
Okay. Tucked away in OG Fantasyland. There's a building. Really, it's a theater, and it's been home to several entertaining, potentially entertaining shows.
Entertaining-ish.
Since Magic Kingdom.
To stuff. It's been home to stuff.
Yeah, it's been home to shows, sit-down shows, since Magic Kingdom opened back in 1971. And this theater, it opened up with, the design of it had this fun little facade that tied into the whole castle and medieval fair type thing with banners and a spire and, faux rock work facade on it to help it blend in with the whole concept and theme of Fantasyland. I've never heard it called Fantasyland Theater. I've heard the one in Disneyland called that, and a little bit of my research showed that, some people call this Fantasyland Theater, but...
It is... Technical name for it is
Fantasyland.
Is it? Okay.
Parks blog, it is called Fantasyland Theater.
Oh,
yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. I didn't research enough. I didn't go to renowned sources like the Disney Parks blog. I just...
you went to your underground sources?
I did.
He went on the deep
I
dark
did
web.
the Tourist Underground. Tour Underground. Is that the one with the frog? Undercover Tourist. That's where I went. I was scrolling through pages of Yelp comments about the Fantasyland Theater. Now, normally when you go, it's usually just called the name of the show that's there, I guess. Like right now, it's just... If you say Philharmagic, people know what you're talking about. And this is the building we're talking about. Right now, it has Mickey's Philharmagic, but if you hop in the old Wayback Machine and take a spin, like we're going to take you, we'll check out the various shows, including the first one called the Mickey Mouse Revue. Originally, it was planned for Disneyland, but the Mickey Mouse Musical Revue, as it was called, was an idea that Walt had for an animatronic stage show wherein the animatronics would be on stage performing as well as hidden within the crowd. It was going to feature Disney characters in theater boxes and sitting in the seats along with the guests, and they would heckle to the audience as well as the on-stage performers during the show. Now, while this particular aspect of the attraction didn't make it in, or while this attraction didn't make it into Disneyland, after Walt's passing and during the early constructions of Disney World, Imagineer Bill Justice had the idea to bring more of Walt's iconic visions into the Florida project that he was working on. With the newer attractions coming out like Pirates of the Caribbean, to him they seemed like they were straying away from Disney, and they didn't really incorporate any of Walt's characters or anything like that. Justice wanted to kind of resurrect that idea that Walt Disney had of this animatronic orchestra, and his final concept for this, called the Mickey Mouse Musical Review, was shown to Roy, and he basically just gave him the one finger, make it so. And WED just immediately moved forward with the construction of the theater and planning that space out and beginning work on the animatronics that they would use in here. Now, the review was basically, like I said, an animatronic orchestral stage show that had a collection of 81 different animatronic characters in it, all of them being iconic classic Disney characters, and they were either playing different musical instruments to accompany the soundtrack you heard. Let's just put playing in air quotes, all right, because Louie's back there with some sticks, but he never once got within a foot of that xylophone. No lie. They would either be playing like they were playing musical instruments, or providing vocals to a song, or just otherwise being on stage and supporting whatever was going on with their own animatronic movements. Now, when it opened in 1971, it was one of the most heavily marketed attractions in the park. You guys remember when you were kids, those old 45 records that came with a storybook?
Yep.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Decent ding.
This had one.
Did it really?
Yes. It had...
That's awesome.
It was basically part of the soundtrack, but it also came with a companion book, and it read through the story of Mickey Mouse and the review and stuff like that. They also had a push-out setup scene activity kit where you'd pop out the cardboard things and set up your own music review with Disney characters on, like a paper doll kind of thing. And it even had a whole freaking backstory written for it, courtesy of the Little Golden Book Company, called Surprise for Mickey. And the backstory for Mickey's musical review was basically Mickey's nephews. I didn't know he had nephews, guys.
Yeah. Yes.
News to me. Never seen him before. Didn't even know he had a sister or brother. Somewhere there's nephews.
I don't think we ever see the sister or brother, but I knew he had nephews.
Well, they're in the book. They just look like little Mickey Mouses. Mickey Mice. Mickey Moose.
Moose?
Yes.
Mises?
And it has his nephews showing him a flyer for Disney World's music review. Remember, or for the Mickey Mouse music review coming to Disney World, which isn't even open yet. And that he's been invited there to help conduct the performance, which apparently is news to him because he didn't even know that it was a thing. And he gets excited and starts running around to all of his friends. And he goes page by page, inviting all of his favorite Disney friends, from Donald to Goofy to Minnie to Daisy, even fucking Horace and Clara. And they all basically tell him to fuck off, they're busy. So he gets sad, he goes to the show, all mopey, and the curtain opens up, and surprise, his asshole friends showed up anyway. They were just playing a trick on him. So, not really a great story, but that's the backstory that the attraction has to explain why Mickey Mouse is on stage and all of his friends are playing in the orchestra, the other Disney characters. So the review had like an 8-minute long pre-show in an auditorium before you go into the actual show. And that pre-show had a video, or a movie, I guess, on a screen that just kind of told the story about the relationship that Disney Studios always had with orchestras and how music helps with telling a story. It also showcased a little bit of the history of Mickey Mouse through the years before the doors open up and guests can go into the main theater. Here's a fun fact. Someone screwed up the math, so the auditorium actually held 200 fewer people than the main theater could hold.
Oh, nice.
So
That's not good.
you know, plenty of seating,
Not enough people.
not enough people. Yeah, they didn't hit their throughput figures on that. But once inside, you're in this, you know, it was still a massive and very ornately decorated theater. The guests, you know, you'd take your seat before a large stage curtain, and then when it opened up, it revealed Mickey Mouse in a conductor's outfit, stage conductor, not train conductor, under a bright spotlight. He's up on this little bitty, you know, platform, and he turns around, which basically means the pedestal he's on turns around. He doesn't actually take a step and turn away. It's kind of just unsettling. He's just like spins 180 degrees to face the audience and introduces himself. Thank you for coming. Here we go. And then he slowly spins back around to face the animatronics. And the show begins. The first tune you get is a little medley of Hi-Ho and Whistle While You Work. And when I say the full animatronics, I mean it's the stage is full of all your classic Disney characters, basically up to 1971. There's some that didn't make it, but a lot of them are in there, and it's quite a thing to see. After you get your medley from Snow White there, the lights go dim, Minnie Mouse is under the spotlight, and she begins playing When You Wish Upon a Star on violin alongside Ka, the snake, who is playing himself as a flute.
That's
wait,
a
what?
little strange.
His tail comes up and bends over in front of his mouth, and he just kind of leans into it and moves up and down like he's blowing it. Obviously, he has no hands to work finger holes, but you go with it. This is the...
Well, if technically is he blowing into his butt?
It'd be a cloaca because he's a reptile.
Maybe contracting certain muscles to make the music?
No, because there are multiple squeeze boxes in effect throughout the show. I'll get to that. Calm down, Adam. I know you like a good squeeze box.
That's just
Like
a little
squeeze
weird.
box.
It is. That one really is. No, after you get, and it's really weird because it's just like this flute a wind instrument that he's doing, and then she's doing it on a violin. It's almost really melancholy, just because it's a slow song anyway. But after that moves on, all the lights kick back up again. The entire orchestra comes in, and you get a quick high diddly D from Pinocchio. Before it gets dark again, and you get to see a silhouette of the big bad wolf walk across the curtains after they've come down, and a little side area opens up, a little vignette area opens up to the side. And because this reminds me, like a lot of these stage elements of this show remind me a lot of the Country Bear Jamboree, where you've got a main stage, but then you've got vignettes off to the side where other things happen. And in this case, one of those side vignettes gives you the three pigs, three little pigs, and they're singing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? You got a pig on piano, you got a pig on fiddle, and Adam, you got a pig on squeeze box.
Nice.
I can't call it an accordion because it's tiny. It's a squeeze box.
Well, I mean, there are pigs.
They are pigs, yes. Now, this is where the show kind of got good, as far as, you know, my opinion, because after you have the Big Bad Wolf song, you get probably my favorite of this is the curtains come down, they open up, and the set changes into a wooded meadow with Snow White kind of laying in the grass, and she's got her hand out, and she's got a bird flittering on her finger, and she's surrounded by, you know, the animatronic forest critters, and she starts just singing I'm Wishing, and it's really cool. Her animatronic looks great, and then the seven dwarves show up off to the side and start singing their silly song, and it doesn't quite blend, and then Snow White sings the backup on the silly song, and it's just like too much noise. Go away, dwarves. Just stick with Snow White. The set changes again, and it gets a little trippy. We get Alice in Wonderland, and she's in a garden of overgrown, whimsical singing flowers, and they sing All in the Golden Afternoon, and it looks terrifying. She looks like she has just dead doll eyes. Terrifying. I got a Kubrick vibe from that scene.
Was it too much eat me or drink me?
It was definitely, I don't know, whichever one made her small was where she was. But I expected a mirror image of her to pop up and ask me to play. That's how just
No,
it
Poppy.
was
Poppy.
bad, man.
No, Poppy.
Next, you've got, and this is a fun part. You have Donald, Jose, and Panchito as the three caballeros, whatever. Pick your pronunciation. They show up and they start singing their theme song from the movie, and the light will go out and they'll pop up over here where you didn't know, like to the left side of the stage where you didn't know there was even a spot for them to be, and then they'll come back on the main stage but in two different spots, and then the lights go off and they show up on both sides of the theater, up like in theater boxes, and they're singing back and forth at each other. They had more animatronics built for just this one set. Well, I don't want to say them the whole thing, but, a lot. A significant percentage was for the three caballeros as they bounced around all over the place. You never knew where they were going to come from. It was cool. Then after that, you got the fairy godmother singing Bippity Boppity Boop, and she swings her little sparkling wand around in front of Cinderella, who's dressed in her rags, holding a mop, carrying a bucket. And then this is not a very fancy transition because it's just the lights go out. Fairy godmother keeps singing and swinging her wand, which continues to sparkle. And then when the lights come on, oh my God, Cinderella's in a dress now. I mean, come on, people. You know what happened.
She booped when she bibbed?
Yes, she just went down under the stage and a new one popped up. Also, Snow White, I think, was a better animatronic, but, this happens. Cinderella transforms. She doesn't really do any singing for this. And she's in her ball gown. Curtains fall, and you get a silhouette of her and Prince Charming waltzing to So This Is Love. Mm-hmm. Right? And after that, you have the climactic performance of Zippity Doodah by Brer's Rabbit, Fox, and Bear. They sing most of it, and then toward the end, the entire orchestra comes to life, and they're all playing and singing Zippity Doodah, which is kind of something, I guess, to see if you ever wanted to, see King Louis playing keyboard and singing Zippity Doodah. Just wasn't expecting that. I figured it would just stay the Rabbit, Fox, and Bear. After that, everything slows down, and you get the saddest fucking rendition of the Mickey Mouse Club song before all the lights go down. Oh, it's not good.
But you were able to find video of this?
Yes.
Was it like 8mm or something?
No, it's definitely not in widescreen.
Well, listen, well, we'll get to it when I get to my section of this, but yeah.
But yes, there are some videos on YouTube of the Mickey Mouse review. I didn't mention this. It opened as the Mickey Mouse review. They dropped the musical part in the front of it. I'm not sure why, but that's just, it opened as Mickey Mouse review. Anyway, after the Mickey Mouse Club song, Mickey gets the spotlight again. The rest of the stage goes dark, and he thanks the guests for coming out and watching the show and tells them goodbye. And that scene, people clapped like they're real performers up there, and they exited. Now, this particular attraction only lasted as an e-ticket for 2 years. In 73, it was bumped down to the D League, and in 79, it was closed permanently at Disney World. It reopened 3 or 4 years later in Tokyo Disneyland as one of their opening day attractions. They literally just packed all the animatronics up, took all the decor down off the walls as carefully as they could, shipped it over there, and just Control-C, Control-V. They built the theater and everything identical to what they had in Magic Kingdom, so this thing could just go right in with as minimal effort as possible. The only real effort they took was re-recording the vocals in Japanese.
Makes sense. It's what Disney does.
Yeah, and apparently the fan base in Tokyo ate it up because it was an everyday attraction there for 26 years.
Jeez.
Before it was replaced in 2009 by Philharmagic.
Mm-hmm. Now, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the three caballeros that we have in the Mexico Pavilion are actually from that attraction.
I don't know.
That's what I heard.
Now that would make perfect sense, because to do that, then you would just, because they had so many of that same animatronic set, that would make perfect sense. That would be what I would do.
Well, they were only put in
maybe
there
it's not a carbon copy.
after
it's
their
like
refurb from
copy.
a Rio del Tiempo.
Yes.
Right. So they held on to him, or they brought him back over or something.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
were
know.
in a little dark warehouse somewhere.
Yep. Right there next to all the other good Disney shit. Like the corpse. Anyway, I'm just 26 years. These old, like, Gen 1 level animatronics ran in Tokyo. That's impressive to me.
Well, I mean, you have some super old animatronics in Pirates.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, every time I hear about that, I just get really impressed that maybe, it almost makes me wonder, when an animatronic goes down, is it one of the older ones or one of the rebuilt newer ones? Because you've got two different types of technology carrying, that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
That we won't be able to find the information on how they integrate old tech and new tech.
I bet
because
you
got
could.
shit that was on reel-to-reel versus all this new stuff and hydraulic
Digital
versus
and
Hydraulic versus
man.
pneumatic.
Nobody wants to hear that show except for me and Adam.
Pretty much.
Am I
Maybe
just
Tim.
chopped liver? I'm just chopped liver, I guess. I'm a fucking engineer and I'm chopped liver with tech. Thanks, Mike.
I'm the worst. I don't know what accent that is.
I don't know. As long as you know, because I don't think anybody else did either.
And that wraps up my 30-minute dissertation, since I guess this is me giving my thesis for my DhD on the first iteration of the Fantasyland Theater. Now, it took a little while after this closed down, but then something truly fascinating showed up.
I don't know if we'd call this fascinating.
What do you...
It's something.
It was the 80s. There was a lot of drugs.
Well, I mean, it's not like this thing didn't move around a bit either. It kind of jumped to a few different places. So, some backstory on what comes next is on October 1st, 1982, Magic Journeys actually premiered as Epcot's one of Epcot's opening day attractions. It was directed by Murray Lenner and featured a song composed by Robert Sherman and the Sherman Brothers. Sounds awesome, right? Wait, there's more. 1984, it actually moved itself over to Disneyland, first on an outdoor space stage and then inside the newly constructed Magic Eye Theater in Tomorrowland. In 1986, the film was removed from both Disneyland and Epcot to make room for Captain EO. So, for some reason, in December 15th, 1987, it made it to the Fantasyland Theater inside the Magic Kingdom, and it was also paired with another 3D short called Working for Peanuts. And this lasted for 6 years, and I don't know how it lasted for 6 years. So this is basically just a 3D film that I watched just recently.
Yes.
And, oh my god, I was not high enough for this movie. There's just not enough drugs. I don't know what I watched still. So, it's supposed to be looking at the world. I think it's more along the lines of the child's imagination. But it starts with children running through a meadow, and eventually they lie down in this field, and they're looking at the clouds, and they're saying, oh, look, that cloud looks like a king, and that cloud looks like a princess. And then I guess they get bored looking at the clouds, so this one kid picks up a dandelion and blows it, and the seeds start scattering. And this is where it gets really psychedelic and kind of really fucking trippy, because now we kind of journey into the kid's eyeball through his pupil, and there's sort of like a kaleidoscopic light patterny thing that brings us into his mind, I guess. And then you have the intro sequence and the Magic Journey song. And this is just how this starts. The next scenes I kind of try to track, and I have more question marks on these notes than I've ever done doing any kind of research for any of our shows so far. So the next scene, they're somehow on a beach, there are birds flying around, then their kids are playing with kites, then the kite somehow goes underwater and turns into a lionfish.
Did the kite look like a lionfish before it went under?
No, it looked like a kite. Like a basic
I've had
kite.
this LSD trip before.
Oh, it gets a lot better.
Or worse.
From the kite somehow turns into you're flying over the Grand Canyon. And then from the Grand Canyon, you go into something with stalactite-looking things and like a field of water.
Sounds a lot like a cave.
No, this is outside. You're now back outside. I like I said, it's really, really high. Like, really, really high. And then from that, there's a kid on a beach riding a horse. The horse then fades into the horse on a carousel somehow. And there are kids on the carousel, and they're trying to, back in the day, you used to try to catch the ring on the carousel. I don't know what this entails. I've never seen this before, but, there's a brass ring that you're supposed to catch. Well, the ring somehow turns into a moon, and now the carousel's going around the moon. Like, the carousel horses are going around the moon, and then a bat flies in front of the moon, and the bat turns into a witch. And the witch has lightning shooting out of her hands for a little while. And then the witch turns into this mask thing with a weird ass face. Then I have just random shapes. The shapes somehow turn into a fucking cat. The cat is now lying in front of ornate doors in some Orient themed room. The Orient themed room fades into the Sphinx. And then we go to a circus with a lion jumping through a flame hoop.
Okay.
Then my actual notes actually say, okay, it's definitely a circus, because I wasn't quite sure when they transitioned to this
Was the original name for the show Magic Mushroom Journey?
Oh, yes. And there's a whole scene with acrobats, which is the longest scene that's in the thing. Then an acrobat falls and lands and turns into a clown. The clown has a large brass horn which he blows, and then there are a bunch more clowns that come on, and then there's a stilt guy. The stilt guy just starts growing, super, super tall, and then I still don't understand how this happened, but now we're outside of the circus, and the kid is now looking into the circus. And the clowns are toy-like things. It's like a toy set. And then somehow we go back inside, and there's a magician. Magician does a few regular magic tricks until one of the kids gets shrunk down and is on the rim of the magician's hat. He somehow falls off. We get back into space somehow with a black hole. And then you kind of warp out of the kid's eye. And then you see the dandelion that started the thing reverse, and the seeds go back onto the dandelion. And my final statement is, I don't know what the fuck I just watched at all. I couldn't imagine watching this in 3D. I don't think you could pay me enough to watch this in 3D.
Was this drawn animation, or was this live action kind of?
No, it was live action.
Are you serious?
Yes, it was a whole bunch of weird.
I've never seen this. I didn't watch the video with Adam. I've listened to the soundtrack a few times.
Magic
right, and you don't really get. Well,
That's what
now
it
that
sounds like,
now
that's the
that I
whole
hear your description of this show, the soundtrack makes complete fucking sense.
It's just so spacey and it's just weird and freaky, and I don't understand how this lasted for 6 years and why I don't get it.
Well,
The clowns are flat out creepy. A lot of this was just flat out
listen,
creepy
guys
too.
on stilts are kind of creepy too. All right.
No, but he gets like really like super like 2 stories tall. It seems at one point, and I'm like, and it's in 3D.
That's why it lasted 6 years. 3D was a kind of new technology.
No,
Well, I mean,
you watch this and tell me your brain doesn't hurt.
listening to
I
it
might have
makes
to watch
my brain
I might have
hurt.
to watch it tomorrow then.
And this is me trying to type as fast as I can when I'm watching this going, I don't even know how I'm going to explain this.
So what you're saying is it's not very Disney themed,
There's no Disney in it at all.
with the exception of the Sherman Brothers.
Yeah, and I mean,
Well, you said it started
there's
in
no
Epcot, right?
characters or anything.
So
It did start in Epcot.
Epcot stuff
Okay.
back then was not very Disney-ish.
But I just don't understand why, if it closed in Epcot, why bring it around?
Well, I mean,
We have an empty theater. Let's throw this in it and see if
exactly.
it
We have an
sticks.
empty theater that we're just using for promotional videos, kind of here and there when we got a new movie coming out. It's not really eating any people. We have probably way too much money invested in a failure of a 3D film. Let's just put a projector in, put a screen up in front of where we had animatronics in the back. We already got the seats. And, for probably in the mid 80s, less than $20,000, they were able to put something into Magic Kingdom that, chewed through thousands of guests a day. I mean, they walked out of there going, "The fuck did I just watch?" Or, "That was awesome, man."
I mean, and I was at Disney a few times. I don't remember ever watching this, and I don't know if it was because I was horrified and blocked it out, or it just was like I never watched it.
I don't
We gotta
remember seeing
hypnotize
this at
you
all.
and find out.
Nah.
Yeah. Then we'll make you eat an onion and tell you it's an apple.
My grandfather used to eat onions raw like that.
Huh. Did he have visions too, Adam? Because that's what
No.
this is. Fucking a peyote.
It's
Vision.
weird. It took me like at the beginning, and I kind of finally connected it at the end that you're in the child's imagination, I guess. But wow, what a long, strange trip.
Well, what a stretch. Because if he was blowing the dandelion seeds off the dandelion, he wasn't playing with his circus toy.
The dandelion was spiked.
I mean,
There was acid in the stem.
really, I think plot twist. The trapeze artist was a clown all along.
But the trapeze artist didn't come until the very end. And what happened to the kite? And the horse?
Obviously, the kite turned into a lionfish, and then back into
But
a
the
kite.
lionfish turned into it was just a whole bunch of wow.
See, I want to go see it just because it was live action and not a cartoon.
But you have to realize it's 70s live action.
Well, no, this was late 80s, wasn't it?
No, this was early 80s.
Well, yeah,
This
I'm sorry,
originally
early
opened-
80s.
This originally opened in 82.
Yes, early 80s.
So it had to be filmed well before then. So this looks like 70s like soap opera kind of filming.
Awesome. I could dig on that, man. That is
you
vintage.
Dig away because I'm still trying to figure out
It's
what
like a
I
brain
just
melt.
I watched.
I think
It's exactly what it felt
I
like.
think
It
we
felt
need
like
more
my brain was
magic
melting.
journeys in Disney World now. That's what I
No,
think.
I think we need to keep this very far
That's what
away
they should have
from
replaced
everyone.
Illuminations with.
Giant water screens blasting Magic Journey.
Yes. And
Wasn't it? It's
know,
in Epcot
Creepy
forever,
kids
isn't it?
giggling.
Just
The
song, yeah.
bit of the song is, yeah.
that's funny.
It was sponsored by Kodak.
Everything back then was sponsored by fucking Kodak.
Mama, don't take my coat off. Okay, so that rightfully so, that one shut down, and Disney.
Well, but 6 years.
Well, that's because it took Disney.
6 years.
It took Disney 6 years to get it right and put something worthwhile in there, right, Tim?
No.
How could this not be a home run?
Well, listen.
They were capitalizing on a high-grossing film.
Well, let's rewind there a little bit because the movie opened in June 15, 1994.
What movie?
Lion King.
Okay, The Lion King.
The Legend of the Lion King opened on July 8th, 1994. So literally less than a month after the movie opened, that this attraction opened up. And
When you know you got magic, you know, man, and that's what they were
This
doing.
was not magic.
Because they were so ready with Frozen.
I mean, except for Baby Yoda, they kind of missed the boat on that one, and I think
And
by the time
Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah.
They were ready for Little Mermaid to be a hit. Oops.
I thought it was a hit.
Well, for some reason, that is still in Walt Disney World, and this show is long gone. And if anybody that knows me knows that I absolutely love Lion King. I love everything about Lion King. I've got Lion
That's
King.
why I gave you this reporting adventure.
I own a Lion King painted ostrich egg. I have a Lion King tattoo. I got Lion King bed sheets. I'm just, but this.
And I got a stoner dream.
Oh, this
From
is.
Epcot. You love Epcot.
If you watch this was a stoner Lion King dream. So it opens up literally with Rafiki sleeping, and Rafiki is the only live character in the show. He wakes up and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "I know that smell. Homo sapiens. We can't all be perfect." It's
That's
cute.
We're all primates, bitch.
Pretty much. The pre-show was the Circle of Life scene from the original movie, which
The Nasamwenya.
yes, which allowed Disney to introduce the
help
characters of the show to people that may have not seen the movie yet. So pretty much this was just a commercial for the movie. It was like a Cliff Notes version of the movie. It introduced what Disney has called Humanimals, which are,
The fuck's a Humanimal?
well, they're larger-than-life figures of their animated counterparts. That's all Disney says. They're puppets. They're just giant puppets. To give you an example, the Mufasa Humanimal was 7 feet long, tip to tail, and stood 6 feet tall. That's bigger than an actual real lion.
You think?
Yeah.
It's more like an elephant.
Not really like an elephant. More like a
Or
horse.
What the hell? Oh,
So the actual show opens up with Mufasa and Simba on an 18-foot Pride Rock, with Mufasa giving Simba the "everything the light touches is our kingdom" speech.
So wait, the rock itself is 18 feet tall.
18 feet long.
But long. So Mufasa's actually longer, almost more than half the size of the rock.
Watch the show. The proportions of this show are ridiculous.
That sounds like a damn big show.
It is. Wait, we'll get into that because
Okay.
yeah, we'll get into that part. That was the
Get
most
me into your
fascinating
big
part
damn
of.
show.
I'm sorry, is there a squeeze box?
No, there's no squeeze box.
I don't care.
So then the next scene is the "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" performance with Zazu, Simba, and Nala puppets as these weird kind of quasi 3D cutouts of the rest of the animals pass by in the background. They're not quite full fleshed out. Think of Winnie the Pooh in Magic Kingdom, that's just wood, painted plywood, but these are a little bit carved. So they're kind of, I don't know, it's hard to,
So is it like a flat Stanley?
a little bit less flat than a flat Stanley. They've got some
Okay.
features, but they're flat in the
Okay.
back.
It's an embossed Stanley.
Yes.
Embezzled.
and they just go back and forth behind them. And it's like
That's
totally,
the job I want. I want to be that puppeteer.
It's totally weird. So Rafiki comes back out and continues telling the story, and Scar is rolled in on his perch, and he sings "Be Prepared."
Uh-oh.
Which is probably the best part of...
Oh, okay.
Well, because there's like steam spitting everywhere, and there's a screen in the background that's playing the fire for the scene for the movie. And then next you have the stampede scene, and the murder of Mufasa.
Wait, they actually do the murder of Mufasa?
They actually show the scene from the movie on the screen.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of that, the actual Humanimal Mufasa is laying on the ground, and the Simba puppet standing next to it, and Scar literally steps on Mufasa.
Get out.
Yeah, it's totally like dark and dangerous more than the movie is. And he says, that's what he tells Simba he needs to run away.
Damn.
He literally steps on his dad and says, "Dude, you got to run away.
Dude, you gotta go.
You got to
now.
go.
It's your fault.
I don't know where you go, but you can't stay here." So after that is the audience is now introduced to Timon and Pumbaa as they meet Simba, and the performance of Hakuna Matata ensues. And literally, it's so weird, the transition from where baby Simba becomes adult Simba. It literally, you see like little baby Simba drop below the stage line, and then adult Simba pops up. It's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird and chaotic.
But that's a stage thing. I mean,
It is.
It's hard to do that kind of transition in like on the
Bakers.
stage. Keep on drinking, Adam. It's fine. There's no alcohol in this beer.
But I mean, there's fading, and you can like slowly transition out. But it was literally like boing and then boing. It's like they were spring loaded. So Nala returns in the next scene to find Simba, and the "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" is the following scene, and it's so dark. In all the videos I've watched, it's so dark you can't see anything.
Well, I mean,
It's night.
and the lighting probably. I mean, these are old school
These
cameras.
are old school,
they don't have.
They're like 4x3 still. I mean, there was yeah. They'll have the little timestamps in the corner in the little digital format. The funniest part of this show that I watched, it was a Rafiki comes back and realizes Simba is alive, and the live Rafiki cast member interacting with puppet Simba is so awkward, because it's the point where he's hitting him with the stick and telling him to look in the reflection to see his dad, and it's just so weird, and it doesn't work. So the actual Simba battles Mufasa scene is, they don't do that live, they project it on the screen. So it's literally a piece of the movie. And then adult Simba rises up from the stage again, and you hear Mufasa say, "It is time." And then they cut to the last scene with Simba and Nala standing on Pride Rock, and Rafiki holds their cub up.
The girl.
The girl cub, which I forget what her name was.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. She's not Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Simba.
And then you see the Simba and Nala animatronic with Zazu and Timon and Pumbaa are surrounding them. The interesting fact about this show was the stage was 125 feet wide.
Well, it would have to be.
And it was bigger than the actual room for the audience, just to accommodate the huge set pieces. If you have never seen the show, which I have never seen it in person, and I'm glad I haven't, because it's a huge disappointment to the Lion King franchise. Watch it. It's so ridiculous, the size of these set pieces. And if you watch one of the videos, I think it was Dave's. The one I watched was Dave's Disney History or something. He wide angles it, and you can just see the massive size of this stage. compared to everything else, and it just looks so ridiculous. And it closed on February 23rd, 2002. That was the year before my Disney embargo ended, so I totally missed this show.
This
Thankfully.
theater has gone from stage with that whole lower level being used for the animatronics to go up and down for Mickey's musical review to let's throw a screen up for Magic Journeys, then back to get rid of the screen, keep using the lower half, but let's make the stage fucking twice as big so we
the
can
screen
put
was
big
still
ass.
there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
This was
still
all
there.
in front of the
It was
screen.
yeah.
So yeah, and then bring in the puppets, and I mean, 6 years later it goes back to a screen again. I
In
guess.
Disney fashion, I bet you all those Lion King puppets are still underneath the stage in Philharmagic right now.
Well, they're not puppets. They're what?
Humanimals.
Humanimals.
Because they're fake animals that are controlled by the
humans.
movement of humans.
You know what I want to see? A Humanimal production of Robin Hood.
Well, and if you watch this video, if you look at these puppets, they're horrible even just by Disney standards, even for 1994. I mean, they're just... Like, Timon's mouth doesn't even move when he's talking.
That's a tiny mouth, though.
But it's just like wide open.
Oh.
It just stays wide open all the time.
Well, does it move on Folk, on Festival of Lion King? Does it move?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, he's an animatronic on...
He wasn't.
Folk.
He's not. Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, he is.
Doesn't he hop around with the tumble monkeys?
I thought
No.
he did, yeah.
Oh, Timon. Yeah, Timon is, yeah.
Pumbaa's animatronic.
Pumbaa's an
Yeah,
animatronic.
he's stuck on his...
Because his little legs can't get him down
Perch.
off the float.
No, they're he's got weak ankles. Okay, so Tim, you said this was shut down in 2003?
2. February 23rd,
okay.
2002.
So like 7 years, we went with just random mishmash something going in here before Disney finally got it right.
So when did this open?
When did Philharmagic open?
No, when did your thing open?
1994.
Oh, so this closed. This went on till October 2000. So how long did this go on?
2002.
Oh, so
8 years.
No, it was it. Philharmagic opened in 2003.
Yeah, so a year after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've got it terribly wrong in my notes. The 3 and the 9 are right next to each other.
Fair enough.
They are if you only have one eye.
I'm winking at you with my good one.
Thank you, Mike
Oh,
Wazowski.
Strobe.
So
Yeah.
finally they get it right. At least in my opinion, I really enjoyed this attraction, especially when I first saw it. And this is Mickey Philharmagic. For those of you who have not done it yet, it is a 4D film. This opened in October 8th, 2003, and is actually shown on a 150-foot widescreen. Built
I'm
for
one of
this.
those people that haven't done it. Can't find it.
That's a lie. You know
I
where
wish
it is. You
I
just
wish
can't
it had a
see
bigger
it.
sign.
You can't see it.
I
Here's your
can't
sign.
see in 3D, so me going to this is...
It's not. It's that progressive 3D though,
I know.
so you can actually still watch the film.
I still will have to have the glasses to help balance out the
No,
Yeah, the
I've taken them
stereoscopic
off
imagery.
to this show just to see, and it's not as 3D as Muppets 3D
It's
is.
blurry, but it's not awful.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'll look into it, all right? I'll do it after I do Stitch.
Stitch is closed, dude.
Allegedly.
No, it's gone. They have the meet and greet there now. That's it.
Yeah.
I heard they're putting Magic Journeys back in.
You can go watch that shit in 3D with your bad eye. I am out on that for 120%. All right. So, when you first walk into the theater, they actually redid it like a theater. So, Inside, there are posters advertising upcoming concerts and past productions. You have performers such as Hades, Ariel, the Genie, Wheezy from Toy Story, Willie the Whale from Make My Music, the Three Caballeros, Big Red Wolf, Three Little Pigs, and they all have their own posters hyping up the past performances that they did there. Now, upon entering the actual, I guess this is the queue area, and then entering the pre-show area where you just line up to get into the theater, you have to pick up your opera glasses, and you hear some orchestral music from just some featured Disney animated films. Goofy admits you into the theater where your final preparations for the performance are underway, and Minnie Mouse will instruct you to put on your opera glasses. Problem is, guess who goes missing? Donald Duck. So, little calamity ensues, and Goofy mishears a cue, as Goofy do, and he raises the curtain to reveal that the stage is totally empty, except for a conductor's podium and Donald, who's sleeping in a box. Ducks like boxes too, I guess, like cats. Maybe. Mickey races onto the stage in a hurry, quickly telling Donald to unpack the instruments, and Mickey places his sorcerer's hat on the podium and then leaves, telling Donald to don't forget the orchestra and don't touch my hat. So Donald pulls all these instruments out of that little box, and of course, Donald, what happens when you tell Donald not to do something?
He gonna do it.
He does do it. So he puts the sorcerer's hat on, and this causes the musical instruments to come to life and just start playing random noises, pretty much, because it's really kind of ugly. Donald kind of gets angry at a flute, and actually at one point throws the flute into the audience, while the other instruments do not like this. And they all gang up on poor Donald, and the next thing you know, where it creates some sort of whirlwind kind of thing, and Donald is shoved through multiple movies. So the
Parallel dimensions.
Multiverse.
Yes, the Spider-Verse. The Donald-verse.
There you go. So the first place that we land is in the Beast's Castle, and Lumiere does the Be Our Guest song. But instead, of course, to Belle or to Maurice, which is how it was in the original edit of the film, he actually sings it to Donald. So you kind of think that makes this 4D here is that you can actually, they add smells. So as the food is passing by, you actually smell the different food, and towards the end, there are champagne bottles going off, just like the film. And you can kind of feel the air of the champagne bottles going off. And of course, Donald is still just focused on trying to get the sorcerer's hat back. So he actually, at the end of this scene, climbs up on a cake. The cake falls and everything fades to black. Now, what would be the sorcerer's hat without the sorcerer's apprentice? The next scene is the sorcerer's apprentice. Donald has shrunk down, and of course, the walking brooms come in. Now, this is where you get a little bit wet, because the walking brooms are still having their buckets, but, you know, Donald's being Donald, he starts yelling at one of the brooms. Little guy. So the big guy broom comes in and kind of drowns Donald out.
Oh.
He beats Donald's ass.
Pretty much. Now, what do you think when you think of water in Disney?
Splash Mountain.
No.
River Rapids.
Movie.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
No. You of all people are going to get this wrong right now.
Oh, cloacas.
Yes.
Yes, Little Mermaid.
I've never seen this. Water. I don't. Okay. Yes. Mermaids. I always think of mermaids.
Yes. So we have Ariel singing "Part of Your World," and in this scene, an electric eel. Donald goes in for a kiss, cause that's what Donald does. And instead of kissing Ariel, he kisses an electric eel who chases him out of the scene.
Was it Flotsam or Jetsam?
Neither. This one had lipstick.
Oh. It was an electric shield.
It was indeed. We now have the Lion King spot, which is really, really nice, because this is when they open up the full screen, and it is really an amazing scene. And throughout each scene, of course, Donald is chasing his hat. And this is the song featured here is I Just Can't Wait to Be King. The next scene after that is Peter Pan, where you have the You Can Fly scene. And the last time I wrote this was just recently this week. We had a whole conversation of why does Donald need pixie dust to fly? Because he's a duck. And ducks should be able to fly.
He's also lazy, doesn't want to flap his wings.
Finally, the last scene is Aladdin, and they're actually riding on the next, singing A Whole New World. Sorry. And this time, Donald actually catches the hat for a hot minute because Jasmine actually places it on his head, but Iago comes over and knocks it off, and Donald jumps after it. At this point, he actually falls back into the magical whirlwind, and Donald gets sucked inside, finding himself back on stage. Mickey returns, puts his hat on, and uses his power to restore the order. As Mickey is actually conducting, Donald gets stuck in a tuba, and I am not going to spoil the rest of it. Because it's kind of fun. So, you're going to have to watch it to see the end.
Damn you. Giving me 95%
95.
of the film.
I'm not going to tell you the end of it. You haven't seen it yet. I think you should see it.
I think I should see it as well.
James loved it.
It's still one of my favorite things to do in Disney World.
First of all, hey, it's air conditioned. The queue is air conditioned. I mean, it's almost always a walk on. And, I mean, it's actually made it to other parks at this point.
And you get to see
Redacted.
the theater.
You just gave away the end. Thank you, Tim.
You gotta see it to believe it.
Mad Elf, folks.
Yeah.
This is now in, 5 different parks? We have it in Hong Kong, Tokyo, Disneyland Paris, and California Adventure, and now Magic Kingdom. So it's actually made it to 5 different parks. This was also one of the first times that Disney Creative has worked with the actual animators of some of these films to get an attraction in, and the artwork.
Is this a CG movie, or is it kind of some CG, some hand drawn?
I want it.
It looks all hand drawn. It looks
all hand drawn.
Okay,
but it's definitely worth the sit, in my opinion.
I've always heard the thing or read where you go on it with your kids and you take a little jewel with you, so when Ariel does her little song and dance and she thrusts her hands out, the jewels go flying toward the audience. You keep one in your hand and you reach out like you got one and show your kid, and they're like, "Oh wow!" I don't know. That's something.
It's a cute idea.
It's a good idea.
You better get that jewel to match, because if it was the wrong kid on the wrong day...
Oh, there's videos and there's articles that tell you exactly where to go and what jewel to buy to make sure it matches one that flies out there.
Because I know that won't go over well with every kid.
It ain't going to work with my kids. They're not ignorant.
Well, they're a little older, too.
Your kids are teenagers, so...
You're right.
It's good.
Well, then it would actually be perfect no matter how bad it is, because then they'll just roll their eyes while I'm doing a dad joke on them.
That could be kind of fun.
Classic dad. I don't know. That's just something I always associate with Mickey's Philharmagic, is the Ariel and her jewels.
Because you've seen it.
Nope.
I like their Aladdin scene.
Yeah. When the smell of jasmine wafts through the whole theater.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like... You can tell where they were going. Like, if you see the progression from, like, this to Soarin'. And now, even when you look at it to Avatar.
Yeah.
You can see kind of the progression of how the 3D movie starts with the smells, and then they move up to the next step, which was pretty much Soarin', where you're hanging. It just, you can actually see the progression of the ride, or the attractions, on how they kind of figured out how each piece works to put it together.
So would you say that the Fantasyland Theater has gotten better with time, or should they have just skipped the two middle shows and gone right from the Mickey Musical Review up to Philharmagic?
Well, you didn't have these movies
Right.
to pull from.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how this would work. I mean, there are some smells that I don't necessarily want to smell from the older movies. Like, what are you going to do for Sleeping Beauty? Like, poison apple? I mean, it smells like poison. I mean, no, that's probably not a good smell. Like, dwarfs in a mine, probably not a good smell.
No, but I would imagine in their cottage, you got the little bit of that fire
7
burning.
men living in one house with the Sleeping Beauty. Tell me how that house smells.
It's, like stew.
There's something to be said that this opened in 2003, you said?
Yes.
And now it's 2020, and it's been relatively unchanged other than fixing the 4D effects and upgrading sound and whatnot. There's something to be said for that. This attraction being run for so long. It's still a great attraction. It's one that we normally do every trip.
And it has all the good songs in it. It's the songs you know,
They're
and the
all
songs you
Renaissance.
sing
It's
along
all,
to.
it's all Disney Renaissance songs. So.
Exactly.
true.
I was going to say that. This is all the movies we grew up with. The ones that if you're flipping around, and it's on TV, you're going to stop and you're going to watch it.
I mean, but if you had to choose a movie to add in right now, and remember you have to add smell.
I know which one I would add.
What is it?
Moana.
And what would you add? Smell-wise.
Well, actually, I would add the new smells from Soren for the Polynesian scene. That... What is it? Hibiscus flower.
So you wouldn't add coconuts for the coconut fight scene? Because I think that would be funny.
The Kookaburra?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're gonna add the Kookaburra scene, then you gotta add coconut smell. But if it's just like the regular Moana scene where she's like trying to get out into the sea, it's just hibiscus and spam.
See, but the main song from that is...
I am Moana.
Yeah. You, Mikey, if you could choose a film.
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm going to go with the gimme on this. And it seems like a no-brainer to put Frozen in there, but with Frozen 2.
Okay, and what smell?
I would go actually with because I'm thinking Donald Duck and how much fun it would be to see him interacting with Olaf while Olaf is singing his song about growing older, and he's in that forest and everything fucking gets ignited. So you'd have the change of
Burning
odor
duck?
from. No, but you have like
Under glass.
It's just about Coco Van.
you'd have like the Rome burning smell, but before that you'd have just an outdoor woods kind of pine smell as he's singing, and then it transitioned to just a little bit of a odor of the forest getting on fire, and he runs around. He looks at you can have so many smells with that, but I think for Donald to interact with him throughout all that would be pretty damn funny. And you wouldn't have to deal around with getting on an Elsa in there. You could just go with Olaf. Fire effects coming out in 3D that I wouldn't see.
Wet moose.
I would
you
do...
just like wet moose smell.
Well, since Tim took mine, I think I do Tiana. And I do beignet smell.
I was going to say, don't do the swamp. Don't do the swamp.
Beignet smell. Oh.
A beignet smell piping through that sugar good confectionery smell. And then you would have them sold right outside like a little cart. You got me suckered right into that very easily.
They'd fit probably better up around Liberty Square or something like that.
You leave my beignets alone.
I just make a beeline.
So, do you all know why they used Donald Duck for this?
I have no idea.
All right. The reason why they used Donald Duck is because he's hard to understand.
So they used the original recordings from the original voice. I'm sorry.
No. but close. They use Donald Duck because he's easy to understand he can't be understood in almost any language. So he's the easiest character to
most
voice
of his language
manipulate.
is just noise.
Exactly.
I thought I read that they actually use a lot of the original, just snippets of the original Donald Duck voice actor because he couldn't be understood, so they just got away with using a whole lot of the original stuff.
But that was the whole point was that he couldn't be understood.
Right. Well, and that makes sense.
So that they can translate it easy, and they already have all the film footage in different languages, so all they have to do is just add Donald.
That's smart.
Yes.
That's efficient and economical.
It's Disney smart.
Now, I wonder what they went through to take that existing footage and give it a 3D workover.
Stereo, it's all digital now. It's not as hard as it used to be. I mean, when you really think about your newer movies are not even filmed in 3D. Like, your 3D projected movies are just doubled imaged. So that almost any movie at this point can be, if they have a digital projector, can be placed in a 3D theater. So a lot of the times it's not always filmed for stereo. And there's a word, and I'm not going to pronounce it right, so I'm just going to leave it out. But a lot of the times the movies are not necessarily filmed for 3D, but you can dummy up the image and double up the image and choose it's not that red and blue 3D anymore, so you don't necessarily need to be filmed.
You use those passive DLP glasses.
Yes,
kind
exactly.
of thing.
So I don't think they really... I mean, I know they did the work, because when it opened, I don't think that technology was that advanced
Right, no,
yet.
like I say, in 2003, that was...
But it was still DLP, because it's the gray lenses. It's not the red and blue.
Well, I definitely want to check this out. Just not so much even that I want to see what type of surprise is waiting for me at the end of the show.
It's okay, it's ruined. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Sorry.
But... it's also just, one of those attractions there that we haven't done. It's not, a launch day attraction, but the theater is, and I think that deserves checking out, even though it's seen several facelifts.
So for August, we need to
August.
check it out.
And
Buffa.
That's what it is.
Probably more like trying to see in August because it's a longer trip than Buffa.
It's a little Sean Connery. August.
Yeah, August.
All right.
I don't know if Fast Pass is available for it or not. I don't remember.
You don't ever need a fast pass this because, like you said before,
August might be hot and high crowd, so we don't know.
I know we've never had to wait online for this ever.
Just, you do this when Mouse Could Twerk It is going on.
No, well, I mean, I ran in. My one attraction was this attraction this last trip, so if you can count the sushi donut as attraction, but that was some good shit.
It's also a good napping spot because it's air conditioned.
I didn't sleep through this. This is one movie I haven't slept through.
I have once.
I am not surprised, Tim. I'm sorry. Well, there you have it, folks. The lesson on the Fantasyland Theater, your DhD course in Magic Kingdom. One step to getting your doctorate, your little diploma, your degree that you can't take anywhere and use for anything.
Well, it's useless trivia.
Yeah. Listen, you may kick ass at the local Disney pub night trivia, and if you win, let us know. Send us, pictures of your free booze that you won. Now, if you didn't like this show or you think we messed something up, then
Too
there's
fucking bad. It's our show.
Well,
Go listen somewhere else.
It's our show, but there is something that you can do.
What can you do, Mikey?
Well, you can fucking do it yourself. You can host. If you are a member of our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/3 sheets, or just you're on Facebook anyway, search for 3 sheets. We're one of the first things that pops up. You know by now that we're looking for a 4th host. And we've kind of opened this up to the community at large. We're crowdsourcing talent right now.
Air quotes.
Yes,
We
air
haven't-
quotes,
Air quotes.
talent.
We haven't been all that successful in finding a good fourth host.
Nope.
You know,
We're 3 for 6 right now.
so we do have a bit of a schmon test going on right now at the Facebook group. We are looking for another host. We're tired of a threesome. We want to make it a quartet. So be headed that direction, because that's the only place, first off, you're going to find the link where you can go and submit your resume, I guess, as it were. We're not looking for, lots of details. Basically, there is a Google form you can check out and fill out, and it's going to ask some basic information about yourself, and we also want to know about your equipment you have, because we want to make sure that we can still meet the same standards of quality audio we've set all the way back to episode 1.
No, don't go back to episode 1 for quality.
And at the end of it, there's a little script that you can read and attach an audio file, because we have to hear what you sound like and what you're working with. But we are actively looking for someone else. Now, kind of the way this works is we're calling it So You Think You Can Host. And it's a little bit game show, a little bit interview, a little bit, contest. And we're going to make it fun. We want everybody to kind of have fun with it and don't take it too terribly serious. It's all in good
a little
fun.
bit serious because.
Hey, listen, there's winners and there's losers.
Yeah.
But really, you're all winners in my heart. So, yeah, do head over to the Facebook group and check that out. Get your submission. We've had several already, and we've actually had some pretty good laughs at your expense. So keep that coming, please. Transitioning from that, let's talk about some drunkenness.
I thought we were talking drunkenness this whole episode.
That basically, yeah. I mean, Alan's still on his peyote from his magic journey.
Oh my god! I don't ever want to watch that again.
Miguel y Antonio Fernandez have started their March drunkenness brackets over there in the Facebook group. There's a bar lounge bracket and a villain bracket
Switching
that they're
it up
running.
this year.
Yes.
Yep, they're taking away the drink because that was such a huge short of contention last year.
Well,
Yep.
because you can't.
2020.
Lapu Lapu has to remain the king.
Now, Michael Fernandez is posting 2 polls every day. One for the bar lounge and one for the villain. And you need to get in there and vote. We're not pinning them, so look for that shit. Make it happen. He's filling out these brackets.
We probably
should
be
be
pinning them.
Because Mike is doing the bar poll and Anthony is doing the villains poll.
So we will make a concerted effort to get these polls pinned to increase your voting. Make sure you get your votes in, because this is going to be a lot of fun, and when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, it's going to get fucking hectic.
It always is.
Lastly, on our announcements here, Adam, sheet up. What's happening?
Yo.
All good.
What's happening with what?
All good.
So wait, how y'all saying it?
August.
Because I listened to the episode and I can't do that.
What?
August.
The August sheet up. August sheet up is full swing. We have our next event that was launched already. That is going to be the Sunday brunch at House of Blues. It is the gospel brunch. You do have to buy a ticket. You can buy your tickets through Ticketmaster. It's kind of weird because it's not technically owned by Disney. There are tables that are already booking up with sheeters. So looks like we are taking over a pretty good chunk of this thing right now. So it's going to be a fun time. We also have our Crawl Around Downtown Disney, which is going to be this Saturday night. And that's going to be an open kind of thing where we're just going to meet up and see how many places we can eat and drink at. Other than that, I got talked into doing another race somehow.
Your arm's been twisted.
We have a bunch of sheeters. First off, though, we do have a bunch of sheeters going down for Star Wars weekend. If there's anybody who wants to run an event for Star Wars weekend, please reach out to an admin or myself. I would gladly help set it up for you. I just don't know what that looks like because I am not going to be able to make it. However, kind of got roped into doing the Dopey Challenge.
Food and wine.
Not the Dopey. Been doing that the whole fucking weekend of Princess, too.
Wine and dine.
I've kind of got roped into doing Wine and Dine, so I will be down for Wine and Dine with a bunch of y'all. We have posted some pinned post in the running group at 3 Sheets Running. We also have some great things going on with accountability this month, so definitely check that out. I think I'm done.
A lot of things coming up. This group just keeps doing more and more shit. We went from 1 a year to I think this year is like every quarter something's happening. That's awesome.
Just about,
I love
yeah.
seeing the way everybody's getting together and going down there and hanging out and just making stuff happen. So, all right, guys, good show. Glad we got a chance to head back to Magic Kingdom and look at the roots of some of the attractions there and how it's changed over the years. Let's get some closing remarks. Tim?
The DhD episodes are some of my favorite. Because even, like, some of the shows we do, like this one, I've only been to one of the iterations of the Fantasyland Theater. So it's nice to go back and look at what used to be there. And try to imagine being there in person to see it. Which I don't know that I necessarily wanted to see. Magic Journeys.
Magic Journey.
Or even, I saw some pictures of the Mickey Mouse review, and some of those animatronics, even the Mickey Mouse animatronic was downright fucking scary. It was like Chuck E. Cheese level scary.
A lot of them are Chuck E. Cheese level, and his clothes don't quite fit him right.
No, and his eyes were like kind of fucking weird, but go look at some pictures and you know what I'm talking about. But I do like these DhD episodes because you go to deep dive into Walt Disney World history that was maybe even before our time, which we're almost as old as Disney World is at this point. But I just like to go back and see what it's like at the beginning.
Adam, you got anything to close us out with?
I actually do. I want to give a shout out because I haven't had a chance to everybody who ran for Princess, everybody who I hung out with, met some new sheeters this time around. It was really fucking awesome to hang out with everyone. Had a girl almost missed her flight because she was having too much fun, but she made it. So that's all that really matters. And hey, I'm looking forward to next time hanging out with all you crazy people. So we'll see y'all in August.
All right, that's going to do us tonight for our DhD episode. We had to fly on my microphone. Sorry, I got distracted there. I want to thank everyone for adulting with us tonight as we discuss Disney. And as I go, I want to say this isn't goodbye. This is see you real soon. So good night, everybody.
Adios.
Good night.
And thank you!
Spice up your life. Spice up your life.
Every boy and every girl. Shake it to the left. Shake it to the right.
La la la.
Oh boy. This is not going well for me tonight.